Hello everybody, this is Fernando for the latest Ghosts and Spirits news video. Yet another entry here involving a viral set of news, this time focusing on the world of ghosts and spirits, and then also one more time focusing on the infamous Stanley Hotel. In fact, last year I did a video of this showcasing a picture that purportedly showcased a haunted figure somewhere along the famous stairwell there in the Stanley Hotel. I'll include the link for it below when you have a chance. Check out that video if you wanted more history on it. But yet again, we have another instance of a ghost, in this case two of them, captured within the Stanley Hotel. And I gotta say, the picture this time is much better. It is actually one of the best pictures I've seen yet of the paranormal. Of course, with the notion that hopefully it's not fake, but at the same time, if it is true, my goodness, this is actually something that showcases some of the best evidence yet. In fact, let's look at it right now. You're seeing it at this moment, this picture that's making the viral rounds in the world of paranormal. It also trended on Facebook for a couple of days. When I was reading the information originally. Doesn't it stand out? Immediately you see right there in the center what looks like the spirit or the ghost of a little girl. And not only that, but what stands out also is that she's right there in the middle of this tour group, because yes, indeed it is a tour group. I'll highlight more info on that in a minute. But yes, she's standing right there in the middle. Nobody seems to notice her, and then also she's just staring right at them. And then if you notice towards the top area, there's a second ghost. Yes, you not only get one but two within this latest viral photo. This other person or little girl, it's kind of hard to discern, is going up the other part of the staircase, almost about to go through somebody that's walking down the staircase. Normally when you see pictures like this involving the paranormal, or purported pictures of the paranormal, it's stuff where it's like they're not in a group, they're by themselves, it's an isolated location. Very hard essentially to try to fake, very easy to try to fake this stuff. But in this case, all of this happening right there in the open, in broad day, not broad daylight, but the highest lighting, no less. That's another thing too. Most of the other pictures, they'll always be in darkness. Very, very easy to try to make up other stuff. But no, in this case, the bright hallway or the corner of the stairwell, and then again in front of this group of tour people. Amazing to think that this happened, and there was a ghost right there, and then nobody saw it, of course, only appearing afterward within the photograph. So here's the history essentially of this photograph. It was taken by a guy named John Mosling. He was there at the infamous hotel with his wife, a lady named Jessica Martinez Mosling, and they were there to do a tour. No doubt at this hotel, in the Stanley Hotel, there's a good set of tours that happen there. This one called the Spirit Tour. Man, I would love to go to that hotel one of these days and take that Spirit Tour, especially considering the very good evidence that was there. But yes, indeed, the way the story goes, they were there on that tour. He was taking pictures just nonchalantly, and then he just happened to take this picture here. Presumably he's on the other side of the stairwell leading upwards, and then that way he was able to take a picture of it looking down. The way he states it, there were no young girls within that party, within that tour. Now I do see there's some young boys within the picture, but he stated there were no young girls within that group. There was a total of 11 people. In fact, they even asked around to see if anybody remembered anything about a little girl, because obviously when he was looking at the pictures afterward, no doubt he was stunned to see this, to see these two apparitions within them. This is the way he stated. At first we tried to be logical and think we somehow missed her, so we asked our kids, their girlfriends, and our friend if they remembered seeing a little girl. Nobody did. We do not remember seeing anything on the stairs when we took the picture. This picture has also been analyzed by someone who was a former FBI agent, and his name is Ben Hansen. He did a careful analysis to try to see if there's anything involving faking this image, doing some kind of CGI, something along those lines. And no, according to his analysis, he states no, this is one of the best photos of possible paranormal evidence that he's ever seen. And he states that if it is indeed faked, then it is truly something up there when it comes to the level of detail that was involved with this fakery. So we have to go by the notion that this is close to as real as possible. And again, it's all tied to this infamous hotel there within the Stanley Hotel, essentially, that eventually brought about the world of The Shining. One other thing to note about the ghosts within the other stairwell, the one heading upwards, you'll notice on the bottom part there is nothing there. There's just merely the top part of that ghost, presumably of a little girl, but there's nothing there on the bottom, because the guy that was taking the picture, John Mosling, he was thinking maybe, just maybe, it was another person within the tour, maybe a little boy, but the problem is there's nothing towards the bottom of that ghost, so that truly makes it stand out too. Brief history also on the Stanley Hotel. It, of course, inspired The Shining. I was reading this information on the Huffington Post. If you ever wanted to know a little bit of trivia on how Stephen King came about with the story, he stated that he was staying at that location one of the last days before it was closing for its annual winter, I guess, hibernation, for lack of a better word. And when he was there, he was himself, his wife, they were all staying there. They were one of the only guests at that time, right before it was closing. And this is his quote when he was on one of those nights he was sleeping there. He said, "That night I dreamed of my 3-year-old son running through the corridors, looking back over his shoulder, eyes wide, screaming. He was being chased by a fire hose. I woke up with a tremendous jerk, sweating all over, within an inch of falling out of bed. I got up, lit a cigarette, sat in the chair looking out the window at the Rockies, and by the time the cigarette was done, I had the bones of the book firmly set on my mind." So, very interesting stuff. I never knew that this was the official history of The Shining, like how he came about, the exact moment when he was contemplating between the time of lighting that cigarette up until it was gone. During those moments, he was able to come up with the entire story, the synopsis of The Shining right then and there. Pretty interesting stuff. So, what do you guys think? This latest photograph, is it real? Is it 100% proof? Is it essentially the bombshell we always needed when it came to the world of the paranormal? How I wish there was, looking on that picture, you notice that there's some reflective surfaces, like some mirrors out there. How I wish there was something pointing towards the two little girls, so that way it'll show their area behind them, but nothing there too. That would have been like the best ace in the hole, nothing but net perfect proof of this being 100% real. But alas, there's nothing along those lines. But still, this is as pretty good as a pick as needed. So, but what do you guys think? What are your thoughts? So, all right, everybody, thanks again as always. Take care.